Technically, this may not be considered a Mario game. Pinball released on February 2nd, 1984 for the NES. There are two other games released in 1984 featuring Mario cameos, Tennis and Punch-Out, which I will not be doing full playthroughs of. I still will show these off at the end of the video, though they're part of much bigger games which will kind of go past what I'm counting as part of this series. Pinball, though, is quite a comparatively small game, and Mario is on the box art, so to me it's close enough. This game has no overt win condition, it's solely based around getting a high score, so the only goal I had was to complete the Mario bonus minigame. I also show off the various board gimmicks with bonus clips. There's not a whole lot of control that the player has, since you could only move the bumpers at the bottom of the screen. There's a higher screen and lower screen, and you can only lose a life if the ball falls to the bottom of the lower screen. There isn't a whole lot for me to say about a lot of this game's gimmicks. Most of these props on the board just give you a flat number of points which are specified by the game itself. There are a few gimmicks that do unique things, which I'll mention when they pop up. On this bottom screen, there are these cards which give points when passing by, but the main goal is to have a full set of cards, which is pretty tricky with how little control you have. These little eggs with ducks are useful, as if you line up all three in a row, it adds little safety nets to the right and left side that save you one time if the ball manages to fall over there. If you manage to get the ball in the hole in the top right side, it sends you a bonus stage where you play as Mario. You can move around and you're supposed to stop the ball from falling to the bottom of the screen or you'll get sent back out. It's kind of tricky to know how to play this one properly, even I don't know how. You have to make each number the same color and will slowly break down the platforms Pauline is walking across. Once you break down a platform enough, Pauline falls and you have to catch her to take her to the side where she can exit. If she falls, I'm pretty sure you lose a life. If the ball falls out normally, it just gets sent back to the normal pinball machine. Game B is pretty much the same as Game A, with the only difference being that it's faster. Here's a showcase of the bumpers from the ducks. If a ball hits it, it'll just launch it backwards and disappear. You get a full set of cards, it makes the board change colors and has a little barrier that makes it much harder to lose a life. It also opens a gateway which you can use to send the ball back to the top. The gateway will close itself after a short period of time, though as far as I'm aware, the barrier near the paddle stays until you lose a life. At the top screen, there's a slot machine that you roll by hitting this pink platform. If you get triple sevens, another barrier pops up like it did at the bottom screen. Unlike that one though, this barrier doesn't stay for very long and will vanish. Here's a showcase of what happens when Pauline falls. The two-player mode is just a pretty standard NES two-player mode. Now moving beyond pinball itself, I'm going to show off the other cameos Mario had in games released in 1984. The first cameo is in Tennis for the NES. It released January 14th. Mario serves as the referee for the tennis matches. This is a pretty big role for the game, so one could argue this should count for the series, but to be honest, I just don't want to grind out trying to beat this game because NES games can be a bit ruthless with their tournament modes. I couldn't even manage to score a point. Second cameo is in Punch-Out for the arcade, which released on February 17th. People are much more aware of Mario acting as the referee in the NES version, though in this version he still appears.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go! Body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow. Right, 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 put him away. Body blow, right, body blow, body blow, right, body blow, right, body blow.
In the audience on both the left and right sides, Mario, Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong Jr. are watching Little Mac fight. I will show off Punch-Out a few more times in the series because Mario characters tend to cross over quite frequently. And outside of cameos, I do have a sad piece of information I have to share. I found the first game I simply cannot play, the PC 8001 port of Mario Bros. It released in February of 1984. Some footage of the game does exist online, which I'm currently showing and the source is linked in the description. I can't say it's a major loss not to play it, but it still kind of does suck. If the ROM ever appears somewhere, I'll be sure to play it.